Good morning. Hope everything's fine in this fantastic world. I think today is Thursday. Today's the 26th of May, 2022. So I'm making this video for a reintroduction because I do know that I've got some new subscribers who have joined in the past couple of months. And I can see from the data that not a lot of people actually go back to my first videos I've made to know the purpose of why I'm making these videos. So in this video, I'm just going to reintroduce myself, share a little bit of knowledge that I've seen or trend in today's market, and give a suggestion about if you are thinking about moving away from traditional technology to cloud technology. I've got recommendations for you, and I've got some insights on the market to what trends I've seen today. So the job market, what I would suggest to do, etc., etc. This video is probably going to be like 15 minutes. So, get your coffee and come, hit pause, get your coffee and come back. So just a little bit about me. My name, Jude Claremont. I've been doing cloud since 2015. Am I good at it? Not really. Got a lot of experience, but because the technology keeps evolving over and over again, but transitioning from one thing to the next, or increasing, or decoupling, or being redundant, or changing, or whatever it is, I can never feel as though that I have experience because I'm consistently learning. So my reason for making these videos is so that I can share some of the grief that I experience, some of the tips and tricks that I've inherited, and the knowledge that I've gained, not only from my observation, but also from me collaborating with several other engineers, architects, security specialists, on-premises specialists, migration specialists, architect specialists, etc., etc. Because one of the things, my great strengths, is not basically coding or understanding cloud or networking. It's the ability to talk with people is my skill set, and that is probably what lands me the most roles. So what I want to share with anyone out there is, if you were looking to do a career in cloud today, or thinking about following up, and you're saying, this cloud technology is a big thing. There's a lot of wheels and cogs to turn within the system, and I don't know which one there is that I want to do. All I can suggest to anyone out there is, don't do it for the money. That's the main tip. Because if you're just going to get into cloud technology because the money is good, then you will never really fulfill the role when the technology becomes a burden, because it does. Things sometimes work, sometimes don't. Things sometimes don't work to how it was designed on the white paper. And if you're just doing it for the money, then that fuel that you need to motivate yourself will quickly deplenish, and that's one of the best advice I've ever had in my career starting. So a little bit about me. Starting cloud 2015, worked with Microsoft was my first cloud experience. I was on the Azure networking team, and I was based here in England. I work in Thames Valley Park, where you had to go to the office, and I worked in the office Monday to Friday in Reading. And I got firsthand knowledge of how the product works. I understand the team, the back end, the development. And what I can tell you is that it's the trick to cloud technology and learning it is to not get attached to the technology. That's what I've learned. If you attach yourself, or pride yourself, or associate yourself to Azure or networking or anything of the sort, when it moves or changes because you've acquired that information, you could become disheartened or lack motivation, or sometimes people feel depressed because it's like they've mastered the skill, and then the skill is now evolved to become what whatever knowledge you've acquired is to be redundant or obsolete. So my advice to anyone out there who's actually learning cloud is three things really. Learn technology quick as possibly you can, but don't attach yourself to it. Don't associate yourself to it. Don't emotionally anchor yourself to it. Probably emotionally anchor your skill set to you. You know, it sounds a bit selfish, but it will pay off. Secondly, if you were to say, what would you do differently in your career? I would have chosen a vertical of my interests. So what do I mean by that? So in cloud, there's so many different verticals that you can have, so many different pipes. And maybe I create a slide about this another time. If you think I should, just put a comment down below. If I don't see any comments that you don't want the slide, I'm not going to bother. What I think is that there's several different ways of actually coming into the technology stack in cloud. And it doesn't matter if it's in the three top vendors that if you go to Gartner Magic Quadrant, you will see that three top ones is AWS, Azure, and Google. I checked that like 3 months ago and it's still in that order. And what I will say is that you want to choose a technology stack of interest. Like, do you want to do migrations? Because you can be a specialist in migrating between different cloud vendors or from on-premises into public cloud. Do you like the idea of security? So don't just become a security specialist in Azure. It's nice, get all the qualifications or whatever, but try to apply that knowledge into each cloud vendor. Now, that's a big ask. I get that. That's not a problem at all. And what you probably find is that you work quicker or more logical in one cloud vendor than the other. That's fine. You can specialize in one cloud vendor if you want. That's okay. But true strength in contracting, and that's what I specialize in, or that I've been contracting since 2013, is that if I were to go into cloud now, I will say I'm a DevOps specialist and I can apply my skill to Azure, AWS, Google Cloud. Or if I'm in security, I can apply my skill set to Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, rather than saying I'm a DevOps specialist in Azure. I think that's basically what I would change. So there you go. That's my first tip for the day, is to try to realign yourself into identifying yourself as a DevOps or security specialist or data specialist or networking specialist or migration specialist or whatever specialist that you want or are interested in. Try to actually see it that you can apply that into any cloud vendor that you go to. So that's that tip. The other thing I just want to say to a lot of people out there is that probably you're thinking, well, should I move away from my permanent role to contracting? And my quick and simple answer is yes. I have several conversations with people where they are thinking about moving away from the permanent role into contracting, and they're hesitant about it. But they're hesitant about it because it's the unknown, because you don't know what's going to happen. But because you know your permanent role quite well, you probably want to stay where you are. Or there's some myth about going into contracting that requires you talking to an accountant, talking to HMRC or paying VAT, and it sounds complicated. It's not really. It's just basically something you need to learn. It will take you a few weeks if you apply yourself. Get yourself a good accountant, which I can help you if you want, and just apply yourself from there. But what I am seeing is in today's market, and that's the main ending of this video, and I'll just show you on today's market, is just that the market is transitioning from more jobs being in permanent to now those shifting into contract. And the thing is that a lot of roles are coming up in the contract because people just want to achieve a particular project or get over a particular hurdle. And to do that is to get more bodies in to help them achieve those goals and ambitions and then move on. So we can apply our skills into working for a permanent employee. But if you've got the mindset that you're working for a permanent employee because it's more secure, that's a false belief, in my opinion, because there's no security anymore working for a company. If you're going to work for a company, it's because you like the idea of how the tribe is, you know, for that company, the culture, the fit, you know, what they stand for, the revolution, those kind of things is why you probably want to join a company. For me personally, I'm a lone wolf. You know, I bounce to the beat of my own heart. And the thing is that I stand where I stand or believe in what I believe because, you know, I seek the truth and I don't want or don't feel that I need to be part of a tribe to be able to succeed. Maybe that's why I'm good at my job. You know, that's why I work 14-hour days. That's why I'm able to give the best results I possibly can, because basically what will happen is that I'm really highly self-motivated because I've got ambitions of my own. Anyway, digress. So that's just a quick intro of me. I know that's a bit scattered, maybe. There's no flow to that, no logic, but that's life. So, you know, that's who I am. Let me just share my screen so that I can actually show you what the job market's doing and we can have a little talk about that. So share the screen. So hopefully you can see my screen. And basically, I just quickly punch in here, Azure engineer. Now, if I just change this to Azure or Azure, wherever you are in the world, I want to pronounce that, it's 594 jobs. It's really important to specify, and this is why I'm saying you want to specify what you want to specialize in, because it, you know, it takes you a particular path. So Azure security. If you're looking for AWS roles, I'll say AWS security. But here's the interesting thing: it's 1,366 jobs. A majority of them is fully remote. Okay, albeit some of them are inside R35. There's some benefits to having an inside R35 role, but what I can tell you is this: there's roles out there, and they're fully remote. Some of them, even government jobs, even the government places where I'm working, do allow you to work in other regions of Europe. So like France, Poland, Hungary. Really depends on which product you're working on and what security level that you require. But the point being is that you can work in other places in Europe. I know some other people who are working in Thailand, in Saudi, but for UK jobs. So, you know, there's no limit now. But anyway, the point being is that there's a lot of roles. There's a lot of roles out there for Azure security, and or, you know, whatever vendor you want to be. Let's go for AWS though. AWS and 1325, relatively the same. And if I go for AWS engineer, so that we can see the two, that a little bit higher. Let's go for Google Cloud, GCP. Yeah, you know, pretty good all around. So the other thing is that we want to also try to apply our skill set to multiple cloud vendors, especially if you're a contractor, because what you want to do is that you want to make sure that your chances of landing a contract, depending on where the market peaks and troughs, you know, it could be at this moment in time, Azure is in demand, but at the bottom, AWS is not, or Google Cloud is not coming up. You want to be able to find yourself in the market that you can land a contract with any cloud vendor skill set at any point in time, because you've acquired the knowledge on those three. That's basically a good solution for you to do. And you know, the market is pretty good all around, if you ask me. What I tend to do is I will go to IT Job Watch and track it from there, because they go year on year analysis. So if I go Azure, I can see that, you know, what skill is actually increased, or should I say paying you more? And then I could go on the right hand side and I can see what has actually increased. So pipelines, Azure specialists, it's up by 17%. Now, I looked at this earlier, and let's go to, I would say, Google. Let's go for Google Cloud Platform. It's increased significantly. Google Cloud Functions, analysis, tags. I think we're more interested in here. Is at 22%. Okay, year on year, last year is down by 158, but it's increasing. You know, it's a significant increase. But here's the interesting one: AWS. You know, look at that. You know, 63%, 30%, 24%, 15%, 14%. It's climbing back up, man. You know, the demands are there. So what's causing these demands? We probably want to know. Is that due to COVID, due to Brexit, due to some other anomaly in the economy? You know, projects took a hit. You know, things got put on the back burner, so to speak, because basically what will happen is that these projects, they didn't know if they needed them or something more, something new, something different, or, you know, they didn't know the direction. So things were put on pause for a long time. Now the demand is there for the technology, and people have got a better clarity as to what they need to be able to implement to achieve the company goals, dreams and ambitions. And that's where you're finding that increase. The second thing that's increasing is that, especially in the UK, you've got more grants given for technology projects. So I think you could get up to like if we wanted to collaborate together, form a company, have a good proposal, we could probably get, like, I think the grant is £4 million from the British government for us to form a company, because the technology of what we're going to deliver, there is a grant out there. So, you know, that's another reason why we've got these increases in technology. Now, that could create a bubble, that could create something false, but it can only create something false if people were not vetted properly. So things are still vetted properly, and the technology is in demand. The technology is so much demand that sometimes businesses in America are coming to UK to come and get some staff, because there's not enough staff in America. And believe it or not, if you were to pay somebody in England £200,000 to do like a Java job or some sort of like coding job at £200,000, for America, that's still considered really cheap into like what they pay somebody in California. So those are things I'm seeing in today's market. So I hope that's helped. I hope my introduction has helped somewhat. Hopefully I'll create another video pretty soon, and see you then. Bye.